All right, Jim, first haunt of the 2016 season, 13th floor, Melrose Park. What did you think?
Yeah, hard to believe the season's upon us again, but 13th floor, always, a great kickoff to the haunt season. Opening night is a tradition for us. And, once again, I mean, you really, I think at this point, we've been to this particular haunt several times, and I think you really know what you're going to get. I mean, you're going to get superior set pieces. You're going to get sets that are linked by a common thread. I mean, they're not just this sort of one-off disjointed set pieces. I mean, there's an element to it. There's a continuity. There are the familiar classic set pieces. You know, the chapel sequence is always a classic. You're waiting for that bishop character to pop out. Again, the most creative use of a casino in a haunt I've ever seen. I mean, that's really the only time you would ever see that set piece. I mean, the nice, sort of aspect is even though you're expecting it, it's great to see. I mean, the sets, they're creatively thought out, they're beautifully staged, and even the nuances, the new touches on the old favorites, I mean, were very, very well done. Last year in the village sequence, it had kind of a werewolf element to it. It seemed to be a bit bigger this year, but very, very well thought out. I mean, they're just tremendous sets. And speaking specifically of one of the set pieces, and this was new from this year, I think it was a really unique set in the sense that there were these tanks filled with, looks like it was kind of like a neon backlit liquid, maybe 3 or 4 in a row. That it gave kind of an eerie sort of glow to it, and I remember thinking as we were going through it. In fact, Brian commented, something should really kind of either be floating in there or something to kind of be a bit more jarring. I thought that might have been a missed opportunity. Just again, very unique set design and new from prior years. But again, that was just a minor sort of criticism in terms of an opportunity that I thought maybe could have been capitalized a bit better. But overall, like I say, the sets were very, very superior.
It was a case maybe they just didn't have an actor in there at that time, but
too.
It did look as though, as you mentioned, like something should be in there.
That's correct, exactly.
Very effective use of the lighting to make it look as though it was underwater or gelatinous or something
exactly
like that.
Right, exactly.
So very, very well done.
Yeah. I do recall seemingly feel that there were a bit more in terms of actors in previous years. I mean, a little thin in that regard, but the ones who were there, I mean, really were effective. They weren't shrill or one note. They weren't really obtrusive or in your face, and they varied. The kind of scares and frights. It just wasn't, jumping out and saying, boo or something like that. I mean, they really changed it up, and that variety is appreciated. So again, I mean, I think it's a terrific value for the duration. We were in there, I believe we timed it at just under 20 minutes. Might have been a little bit of a slow pace factored in, but all the same, I mean, very, very, very well thought out sets. And I think to kick it off, again, I would give this a 5 chainsaw rating. I think it's a great start to the haunt season.
Okay, to carry on from what Jim said, I would agree 13th floor is one of those haunts that if you are into set design, it's a haunt to see. It's beautifully crafted, artfully crafted. So when you enter a building, you see all the decorations inside the building, including ceilings. And there are scenes where there's bits of ceilings that are missing and a chandelier maybe hanging and you could see through the roof and things like that. But also not only the inside of buildings, outside of buildings. When you're in the church scene, for example, when you go outside, part of the church is collapsed and you actually see the collapsed brickwork and the windows and the stonework and things. Very well done. Multi-tiered sets with big staircases, phony windows and street scenes, even street lamps. Excellent stuff. There's a barber shop, a bar in there, an apothecary shop, a mansion, a shack in the woods, an auto repair shop, even a casino, as Jim mentioned. So, and each scene links from one scene to the next. There's no going through dark corridors of nothing. It's always one scene directly into the next. So it feels as though you're in sort of a movie set. And if that's the kind of thing you like in your haunts, it's very good. There was a scene where we're in a hospital, and in the background, there's a girl in an electric chair behind a plexiglass window. And there were also actors in the scene with us who were kind of jittery and jerky and making odd sounds. But this girl was doing her own thing in the electric chair. And it looks like she's getting electrocuted. And she's just in the background, which is great. But then she came and pounded on the plexiglass. which was really nice. So having that actor back there, even though she was background filler, really distracted people and got them scared because they're focusing on the actors in the room. And even though they saw her, they knew she was there. They didn't know she was going to jump out of the chair and bang on the plexiglass. Very well done. The actors also, I will say, are not one note, as Jim mentioned. They tend to do their thing. Some of them grunt and squeal, and some of them whisper, talk to themselves. They shake, they shiver. But what they don't do is jump out and go, bah, or scream at you to get out. They don't do that, and that's very, very good. I will say that 13th Floor has become a regular attraction for us, but I will caution that 13th Floor can be pricey, especially if you go on the weekends and during their peak season. They have tiered pricing. So during the week, the prices are cheaper, and they have 3 levels. There's general admission, there's a limited wait, and then there's the fast pass. So it's a base price plus 10 plus another 10 if you want to go VIP. So it can get very pricey. And for the length, Jim mentioned it was almost 20 minutes, but we were following behind some slower individuals. So I would estimate probably maybe around 16 minutes. And at the price point, we paid $30 for the limited wait this time around. But on the weekends, this was opening night, it's a little bit cheaper. And during the week, it's also cheaper. So my advice to you would be to go during the week. Try to get there when they open, and maybe you can get away with general admission. Look out for Groupon or Living Social or other deals like that, because otherwise the price will be maybe a little bit too much of a detriment for the value for the money portion of this haunt. But otherwise, if you want Hollywood-style sets and you want good actors and something nice to look at when you're in there, and you might get scared too, it all depends on what you like. Different variety in the sets, 13th Floor is the place to go. But because of the pricing and the way the pricing works, especially on the web when they tack on taxes and extra fees, I'm going to give it 4 chainsaws, simply detracting a little bit from the price. Okay.
I need to go and get the clip, the thing. I have it. It's right there.
Blooper reel.
Yes, I have one.
Okay, this is another outtake for the blooper reel. All right, one more time. The mat, it's going in and out.
One of the rooms I like, they have an autopsy room with a doctor, and he's singing, Mary Poppins, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine, the light's going to go out. Again.
Oh, my